All
All
right.
right.
Season
All
one,
right.
week 22,
That's right.
the Nikki and Fitz show. This show is titled this week WVU and Pitt, the Backyard Brawlers.
Yeah.
They both had major upsets this week, both of them. So we'll get to that later when we talk about the upsets of the week. But let's recap the week in college basketball and some football news, not a lot, but some football news. What's going on at Iowa State, Nikki?
So it seems like it's just a big mess that started out at the University of Iowa in Iowa City,
Right.
and then it migrated to Iowa State University in Ames. And it sort of looks like what happened was um, gambling, I guess, at some point in the last 5 years was legalized in Iowa. And an agent with the Iowa Department of Investigation, I guess it's like their state police, went on his own to Iowa and he, I guess, hung out by a dorm and tried
Creeper.
to track, yeah, tried to track who was using the app. With no search warrant, nothing like that, nothing really above board. And I guess he got back to the station house and the bosses told him, cut this out. This is, you need a judge's signature, you need a warrant, you need a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
So then I guess he like went back and did some more work. And I guess what they found is players using each other's phones or whatever that they had the whether it's the DraftKings app or the gambling app
FanDuel.
on their phone, and they were using it to, I guess, place bets. I mean, I guess they have an overzealous prosecutor, and he charged at least one player, I think, at Iowa State with identity fraud for using someone else's app, which seems a little crazy.
Right.
That's a felony, but I guess it's a big mess, and obviously it's gonna pop up in other places now.
Tip of the iceberg. We've been
Yeah,
talking about this all through football season. Remember all the references to bad beats and
right,
and weird stuff happening. The Oregon guy
right,
dropping the ball at the 3 yard line when they're about to go over, right? Or cover
right,
the spread.
right,
The
right,
fourth down stance where they kneel down, but then they on fourth down they don't kneel down, throw it in the end zone to cover. All
right,
the weird stuff that happened this year.
right,
This is the tip of the iceberg in college athletics. Like I said before, everyone that I talk to about sports is gambling.
right,
Everyone to a man
right,
because they've made it so easy to do it. It's like ordering an Uber, ordering Uber Eats, or
right,
DoorDash. It's so easy
right,
to do it because it's on your phone. Your phone's always with you, and you can do it within seconds. And they've lowered the amounts that you get in on. Now you can bet a $2 bet, a $1 bet. I mean,
right.
one of our friends, Butch, had a 12 team parlay, really bet like $1.50 and won $18. You
Yeah,
can imagine if you would have bet something a lot, right? If you would have bet a
right,
hundred on that, you won eighteen hundred
right,
dollars. But whatever. It's so easy. It's so cheap. It makes the game so much funner when you bet on them, and
right,
everyone's doing it. You really have to
right,
have hard discipline not to do it. So I think it is just starting to sprinkle in to the point where I think they're going to take away legalized gambling, which is going to suck for guys like us who do it for
right,
fun, right? We're not athletes.
right,
We're not playing.
right,
And there's no way to monitor it, man. It's so easy to do. There's no way to monitor it. The NCAA
right,
can't
right,
monitor that. There's no way. So
right. I mean, there's no,
that's
like,
it's going to happen everywhere. By the way,
right, right. I mean, I guess they caught the Alabama baseball coach last spring when
yeah,
he walked into a casino in Cincinnati and bet on his team or against his team or something
yeah.
like that. But yeah, it's
He got fired for that though.
yeah,
At Alabama,
yeah,
it must have been a real bad
right,
offense. I mean, they had
right,
a basketball player last spring. hand the gun to a guy who shot and killed someone. He kept playing.
right, right,
So whatever.
right.
All right. I have said before, and I'll say it again, Ohio State will be in the national championship game next year, I think against Georgia. They are loading up, eating the Alabama carcass. It's just sitting there on the road, and they are swooping in. They gave Caleb Downs, their star safety, started as a true freshman at Bama, which means you're a complete stud, right?
Right,
I mean, that's like DBU, Alabama. They put more DBs than any other school in the
right.
country. He starts as a true freshman. He's a first team All America as a true freshman. He's a beast. $2 million to come to Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His father played for the Giants. He was a pretty good running back at NC State, Gary Downs, and his
Yeah.
brother plays for the Colts.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good football player, Nick.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
absolutely.
with Saban gone, the carcass is
Right,
still raw and they're all digging in, man. Georgia dug
right,
in, Florida State's dug in, Ohio State. And the Ohio State also got the top quarterback recruit that Alabama got, Justin Saying, 5-star, the big dingling.
right,
Nick left, he left. He went into the portal. He never even played for them. He was
right,
signed for like a month.
right. Less than
Went
that.
into the
Yeah,
portal, and he's at Ohio State, so he'll be the
right,
heir apparent. I guess Will Howard will start next year.
right,
And then they got the Judkins, the Ole Miss running back, and then they went and hired Bill O'Brien as their new offensive coordinator from Alabama. I mean,
right.
talk
From the
about
Patriots. Yeah,
yeah, from Patriots, Penn State, but no,
right.
this year he was at Alabama.
Oh, okay.
The Patriots gotten rid of him. He was at Alabama this year. So unbelievable. I mean, Ohio
Right,
State saw blood in the water. The idea that Michigan just ran the table and won everything has probably got them so worked up
crazy.
there, right?
Yeah,
Um, so that's an interesting story, obviously. DePaul fires Tony Stubblefield. A midseason firing is never good. I went through it
right,
with Maryland when Turgeon quit a couple years ago. It's the worst because you get Danny Manning as your coach for the rest of the year and you suck, right?
right.
But they did hire Matt Brady, who I got to know a little bit when he was at Maryland with Turgeon. Super nice guy. They call him the shot doctor. That's his
Oh,
nickname.
really?
Supposedly is a wizard with shooting the threes. We were actually a pretty good three shooting team when he was at Maryland. I hope the best for Matt. Matt's a really good guy. Got to know him a little bit. Got to have dinner with him, have a few drinks with him. Super good dude. It's a job that's there for the picking if you can recruit Chicago, Nick.
Right, right,
I mean, the Myers did it. Joey and Ray did it.
right. And then it's been, I mean, their last year in the tournament, I looked it up, was 2004. So 20 years since they've
Yeah.
been in the tournament. That's a long time for that program,
It's a storied
which
program.
as you mentioned, what has a proud history
Yeah.
of, with Joey and Ray Meyer. And I guess they just they just need an AD who knows what he's doing. They ought to hire you or something and just find,
I love Chicago in the
find,
summer.
get somebody in there who knows what they're doing.
And
And
let's
then,
recruit Chicago hard.
right,
Let's just recruit where we're at.
right,
Forget about the rest of the country. Go get some Chicago players. Because
right,
Illinois is coming in there. Northwestern's already there. They're recruiting it.
right,
I mean, I know everyone's recruiting Chicago because there are ballers there,
right,
except for DePaul, which is
right,
really kind of sad.
right.
But the Myers ran the program from 42 to 84 was Ray, and then from 84 to 97 was Joey, his son.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they had the whole 55 years worth of running that program, and
right,
that was a storied franchise. I mean,
yeah,
they got that Final Four with Aguirre. That was incredible. He was a great college player. So I hope they come back on their feet. But they need to hire the right guy. I don't know if Matt's the right guy. Maybe he will be. I don't know. He's gonna have to go on a run, but they lost last night, so I think they just gotta have players, man. I mean, I don't care about
right.
coach. If you don't have players, you're done. Speaking of guy with players and should be done, how about Jawan Howard at Michigan?
Yeah, yeah, that's a crazy situation. I mean, uh,
last place in
I,
the Big Ten.
yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do there. Maybe they buy him out or something, or maybe, um, I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, is Phil Martelli still our assistant there?
He is, yeah, he's coached a few games this year. It's a tough situation because he's an alum and
Right,
he's loved by the students. Apparently, one of my friend's kids goes there and says they all love Jawan. Jawan goes and brings them donuts when the kids are waiting in line for games. He brings them all kinds of goodies. He's supposedly a good kid to the students, but he's an asshole. We all know
right,
that,
right.
and not a really good coach, and has really gotten no players since Beeline's guys all are gone. I mean, he's really hasn't
Yeah.
done anything there, man. I'm glad he's terrible. I mean, I don't think he's a good human, so I wish bad on him, and he's a bad coach on top of it. So
So,
um, the whole Michigan program is kind of down. Jim
yeah,
Harbaugh leaves, as we've called for all year, right? We've been saying it all year. It's only a matter of time. He's coaching like an NFL coach, not a college coach, right?
right.
Goes to the Chargers.
Yeah.
What do you think happens there now?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, they have the quarterback,
No, he
which is
left.
a lot.
McCarthy left.
No, I mean, Michigan has Herbert. I mean,
Oh no, the Chargers. I don't
Harbaugh
care.
has
I'm saying, what
Justin
do you think's
Herbert.
going to
Yeah,
happen at Michigan? No, I think he'll be good at the Chargers, Harbaugh.
right. Oh,
At
at
Michigan,
Michigan, um, I think they'll do all right. I mean, I guess the next man up is Sharon Moore.
yeah,
He's a young guy. He's from he played at Oklahoma. We'll see what he can do, you know?
they should give him the job. He proved
Right,
himself this year.
right,
That's a high profile job, man, and
right,
they could probably get better candidates than him, even though he did prove himself. We'll see what happens. That's going to be an interesting story to watch. And the portal opens up for them today. So we also got to see, they got 30 days now. Any guys could leave the program for the next 30 days. We'll see what happens with that, because that could be a mass exodus like what happened at Bama. Um,
right.
Especially with the recruits who came to play for Harbaugh and he's gone, you know. They recruit the DC area really hard, man. Michigan's got like 3 or 4 guys from coming from there here. I hope that Loxley goes after them. Um,
Right.
so that's interesting. So Terrence Shannon back with Illinois.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure how this worked. I guess they got a judge to enter a temporary restraining order on the University of Illinois. So I guess he's back playing with the team. I guess for how long, nobody really knows. Um,
Well, I got more insight on that. I
all
called
right,
a buddy of mine that I work with, because like the company I work for, Hilco's out of Chicago, and one of
right,
my good friends there is an alum from Illinois, and his son's at Illinois right now. So I asked him the skinny on it yesterday, and he said that Shannon wanted to come back. The coaches in the universe said to him, "Well, we can't take you back. We have a zero policy, but here's what you can do. Go petition to the court. Go tell them it's hurting your status. Go tell them that it's hurting your nil money. It's hurting your draft stock for next year. It's really hurting you
right,
personally in the wallet,
right, right,
and that you need to get back on the court because you're
right,
as the judge said in his ruling, his draft position has dropped 20 spaces. He was in the middle of the first round. Now he's a second round pick. That was part of his ruling. So the
right,
judge was looking at some mock draft list, just so stupid. Um,
right.
but apparently, Illinois walked him through the process how to get back on the team. So
Okay.
they need him. Underwood. I mean, Brad Underwood. Is that over after this year if they stick again in the NCAA? I mean, he's got a pretty good team this year. With Shannon, they're really good. I watched
Right.
them play Northwestern on replay today. They're pretty good, man. Northwestern's pretty good too.
Yeah.
That was a really good game, actually. High level game. So last thing I want to catch up on is Chris Beard at Ole Miss.
Okay,
He's been great wherever he's been, obviously. Won a Tech.
right,
Not that many people won at Texas Tech. Won at Tech
right.
big. And now he's winning at Ole Miss. What do you make of that? 16-3.
He's a phenomenal basketball coach. I mean, I think he went to like he went to work under Bobby Knight as a very young coach just to learn the game. I mean, and he's a phenomenal coach. I mean, they took Virginia to overtime, I guess 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, for the national title.
Yeah.
Um, then he was at
Texas.
UT at Austin. He got into trouble, and then he surfaced at Mississippi. And he's going to have a strong program wherever he goes. He knows how to recruit. He
Yeah.
knows all the technical aspects of the game. And hopefully he can. I guess maybe he deserves a second chance. Maybe he can do something with it.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was under Knight, so that's where his tutelage comes from, Knight, so that's good. Um so the portal as of 2 days ago, 2242 entered, more
Oh, switching
committed
back to
now.
football. Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
football portal. 1139 have committed, so 51%. So that number's starting to go up a little bit every week.
Right.
90 withdrawn, which they went back and that's number's gone up, which is good. So right now we're at 54% are somewhere else besides in the portal. I think Michigan's going to have some people go in the portal. There's no doubt in my mind. Not there's anything wrong with Sharon, right? Sharon Moore, they just don't want to. They came there to play for Harbaugh. I mean, that's really the
Right.
bottom line, right? So,
Right.
um, hang on a second, Nick. So
Sure.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I think it's going to be a problem for them come the rest of the year. Don't you think?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean,
Michigan, sure.
yeah, I think they're not going to be as good as they were last year. I think it's going to not even be close. Hang on, I'm
No,
having
I mean they had so much experience on last year's team.
yeah, yeah. They were loaded. Everyone's pretty much either gone pro or graduated. So
Right.
um last week you were 8-8, 500.
All right.
I was
You
seven
doing
and nine.
better?
I was 7-9 under
All
500 under the Mendoza line.
right.
There was some interesting games in Memphis blew out. Oh no. Memphis played Tulane and Tulane beat them at home. I've been to Tulane's basketball stadium on campus for the Temple game a couple years ago.
Right.
It is a little bandbox, man. It is small and loud. You're right on top of the court. Now the fans don't leave much to be desired because I bought tickets from me, Shelly, and Ian, and we paid $5 to sit 50-yard line second row.
Wow, that's great,
So
man.
I was like, where are the fans? And then you get there, it's sold out when we got there, but we bought the tickets a few months in advance. But I don't think there's a huge demand for those tickets, obviously. Um,
Right.
the Ville, they're done, right? Kenny Payne, that job's
Yeah.
going to be available. Um,
Right.
UNC blew them out. UNC
Right.
really good, Nick. I saw them play a couple times last weekend. I saw them play the Ville, and I saw them play Wake Forest, and they blew out Wake Forest also. Miami went into Cuse as the favorite, and then they lost. Cuse is, I mean, they're fringe NCAA team right now.
Right.
Had some nice wins, had some bad losses. Um,
Yeah. They had a bad loss the other night. Leonard Hamilton's Florida State Seminoles went up there and ripped them.
yeah, you love Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah.
And the next one's Wake Forest, UNC. UNC won that big. I saw that game. They look great. Indiana, Wisconsin. Whiskey's tough at home in Madison. I've been to those
Right.
games. That's a loud place to play. Um, Northwestern versus Nebraska. I don't know if you've seen any of the games in Lincoln for the Cornhuskers. They get a good rowdy crowd there, man. It's
Yeah, there's nothing to do out there
Yeah,
except,
it's impressive. I think they're hard to beat there. Maryland plays them this
right.
Saturday, so we'll see how they are. They're not as good on the road, but they're pretty good at home.
Right,
They beat Northwestern, who just beat Illinois yesterday. So um, the home, like the home playing at home, playing on the road is so different. I mean, I don't know why teams are so much better at home. I guess the home cooking, I don't know what it is, but I mean, Maryland won at Iowa. That was a huge win for them last night, by the way.
yeah,
They hadn't beaten them in 4 years at Iowa. Michigan State, Maryland, I went to that game. Maryland played terrible in the first half. You're down like 12, I think, at halftime. And they came back and played tough in the second half. They defend, man. They do defend the ball. But
right,
you get back that much against a decent team, you're not going to come back. You run out of steam,
right.
it happen. So they lost. Texas Tech, Houston. Houston's tough, man. I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
smelling
I
another
thought the
Final
Red Raiders
Four.
would hang with them. I was wrong. They got stomped.
Yeah, they got stomped. Baylor, Texas. Texas won at home. Texas has been just okay this year, and Baylor was a top 10 team. That was a good win for Texas. Um, TCU won by 4 or 5, but they didn't cover.
Got it.
Oklahoma State's tough at home, but the TCU is pretty good. Jamie Dix is a
Right.
good coach, isn't he? I like him.
Yeah, Jamie Dixon, yeah.
Marquette St. John's. I watched that game. That was on Saturday. St. John's is so close, Nick. Patino's got them like playing everybody tough, and
Right,
they crushed Villanova last night by 20, by the way. But they just can't. They don't. They're missing like one key ingredient. They need a stud who can close out games for them because they've lost a lot of close games.
right.
Um, Connecticut just barely beat Villanova in Philly at the Wells Fargo at the Sixer Stadium. That was a good game. I watched some of that. Creighton Seton Hall.
Oh, that
Creighton
was
won
the three overtime.
triple overtime. Have you watched any of these? Did you watch this one?
I watched Maryland and Michigan State,
You did, okay.
uh, Texas Tech and Houston, and there's a game I'm forgetting that I saw.
So you like Houston too, right? They're loaded,
I
aren't they?
do now. I mean, my God, they went through Texas Tech like they were standing still.
They're like thoroughbreds too, and they
Yeah,
fly up and down the court. Looks like UCLA starting to figure it out a little bit, Nick.
a little bit, you know. I
Yeah,
mean, I can't get the Pac-12 schedule down. It used to be you played on Thursday night and then you played on Saturday. Now it's like a little different. It's screwing me up.
it's because of TV, Nick. They're
Yeah,
dictating everything. I mean, Maryland used to play Tuesday or Wednesday and then Saturday. Now they
right,
sometimes play Friday, sometimes Saturday, sometimes even Sunday.
right, right,
But they never play on Mondays, and that's the only day they don't play is Mondays. Every other day
right.
is up for grabs. Um, but Arizona beat them. They were down 19 and came back and beat UCLA down 19. Alabama, Tennessee. Tennessee's really good too. That's another decent team. And then Ole Miss lost lost to Auburn in Auburn. Which I'm surprised because Ole Miss is 16-3, man. That's one of the few losses they've had this year. In terms of upsets, Nick, I don't know if you watched any of those. I did watch some of this Kansas WVU game in Morgantown.
Yeah, it got wild, huh?
It got wild. You know, it's tough to play there, man. Another loud, small, tight arena, man. I've been to a game there. It's impressive, man, what they do there. I mean, their fans are pretty passionate. 10.5 point favorites though for Kansas on the road, and they got waxed. And then Pitt, both teams. Oh no, Pitt was UWVA was at home. Pitt played at Duke, 12.5 point underdogs, and beat them 80-76. That was another. I watched some of that.
Go
Pitt played
Pitt,
them tough,
go
man.
Panthers.
Yeah, I mean they got a couple dudes on that team that can really fill it. And Duke is the usual. They live and die with the three, man. If the three's going, then they're good. If it's not going, they suck. Um,
Right.
so road trip
How do you
this
think that? How do you think John Schreier's doing as the coach?
John Cryer.
Yeah.
The Cryer, I don't know, man. I think he's still recruiting players. They're still getting like top 10 guys. So he
Right,
better start doing some winning or he's out.
right,
Because it's not a matter of he's not getting players because coach, Radface is gone. It's that
right,
he's not coaching, he's not coaching, he's not a good game coach, I don't think. I mean, he's still a good recruiter, obviously, and he was K's top recruiter when he was there as an assistant, but he's not doing a good job of in-game coaching. I mean, when they play
right.
UNC, I can see UNC thumping them by 20.
Okay, we'll
UNC
keep
is
that in mind.
UNC is really good.
Yeah.
They're really, really good. All right, Dayton, Richmond would be, if we had to go to Richmond for a road trip. I know we've done that road trip together
Right,
to Kenny
right,
Ladasky's house.
right,
Have you
right.
been to a game at Richmond?
I have not been to a game at the University of Richmond. I think I went to a VCU game a long time ago. It's it's a cool town. It's definitely worth going to a game there.
Yeah.
There's Richmond Spiders, VCU. Um, there's somebody I'm forgetting.
Is it like Virginia Union's there too, or something like that?
Virginia Union's down the road in Petersburg. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got um,
Virginia State,
the
is that there?
Cavaliers aren't that far away up in Charlottesville.
Right, right. What do you think of the town itself? Nice place to stay, good place to eat, nice watering hole.
Oh, it's been a while, but it's got like that fan district downtown and Shockoe Bottom. It's pretty it's worth it, worth a visit.
Good. All right. All right, ready to go for the picks this week?
I'm ready to go, baby.
We're like hovering on the Mendoza line, man. It's terrible.
All right, this is our big week.
All right, let's go. Let me get a pen and paper, write these down. Let's do this. All right. Auburn v 4-point favorite at Alabama.
I'm going to take the Tigers all the way. Auburn
Minus the 4.
minus the 4.
Nick took A, B, and F took. I'm going to take Roll Tide.
All right.
Georgia v Florida. And Florida's a 3.5-point favorite.
Okay. I'm going to take Georgia because the former Gator coach Mike White, who left Florida to go to Georgia, I guess there's probably bad blood between him and the Florida athletic department, and they'll have his guys ready to play. I'll take Georgia.
So will I. That's great reasoning. That's why I'm taking
Okay.
Ole Miss at A&M.
Boy, this is a tough one.
A&M's a 4-point favorite.
Oh boy. I'll take Ole Miss.
And I'm going to take A&M.
Okay.
At home. I like them at home.
Okay.
UCLA v USC. USC is a 5-point favorite. USC has some good
Downtown at
players, man.
USC. Um, UCLA's played better of late. I'll go with USC.
And I'm going to take UCLA in the upset there.
Okay.
Boogie Ellis is hurt, so I don't know. I think UCLA starting to figure things out, Nikki.
I agree with you.
Arizona -6 going into Oregon, in the Eugene. The
No,
third
you're right.
huh?
I'll take the Webfoots, the Oregon Ducks.
And I'm gonna take Zona in a blowout.
Okay.
Marquette versus 3-point favorites
Huh?
at Villanova.
I'm going to take Marquette here.
And I'm gonna also take Marquette. I think they beat them. Marquette's good, man.
Right.
DePaul,
That's Shaka Smart's team, right?
it is.
Yeah.
DePaul 10-point underdogs at Creighton in Nebraska, Omaha.
Let's say Matt Brady keeps it close. I'll take the Paul.
I'm going to take Creighton in a blowout. Kansas?
I have a quick question for you, not to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
The the Catholic schools like DePaul, Creighton, Marquette, Villanova, how do they do with the NIL? Are they at a disadvantage or they do just fine?
Most of them are not at a disadvantage. They don't have football.
Oh, okay.
All the money pours into one sport
There
as
you
opposed to
go.
two.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. That answers that. All
yeah.
right. All right.
So they're in good shape. Like Georgetown's nil is really strong.
Right.
Kett's nil is really strong.
Right.
DePaul should be strong. Creighton's is really strong. DePaul should be good. They just stink.
Right.
All right, Kansas -4 going into Ames. Both
Uh,
top 25 teams, by the way, on this one.
I'll go with the Cyclones, Iowa State.
I like them too. Yeah, I think they take them down. Um, Texas Tech versus Boomer Sooner. Boomer's 3.5-point favorite.
I'll take Boomers. I'll take Texas Tech.
Texas Tech?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go Boomer. Houston versus Texas. Houston's 2.5-point road favorites.
I got to go with the Cougars here, Houston.
And I'll go Texas at home with the upset.
All right.
Michigan State, Sparty versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a 5-point favorite. They're in first place, by the way, in the Big Ten. I don't know how Greg Gard does it. Obviously, he's a really good coach because they have guys and you're just like, yeah, I don't know. And then they just
my
win games.
my inkling here is to take the under, whatever it is. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Um,
I can,
I'll take Michigan State. I'll take Sparty.
all right, I'm going to take Wisconsin at home. I think
All
they're
right.
so much better in Madison than anywhere else.
Right.
Nebraska versus Maryland. Maryland's a 3-point favorite. Nebraska's second place in the conference, but Maryland plays so much better at home than they do on the road.
I'll take the Terps.
Yeah, I'm going to take Maryland too. Purdue, 8-point favorite versus Rutgers. Mind you, Purdue's lost the last years at Piscataway.
But not this year. Rutgers has a good coach. Pikel's a good coach and a good guy, but I think it's going to be tough for them. I'll take the Boilermakers.
And I'm going to take Rutgers. I don't know
Okay,
if they win, but I think they'll cover the 8. I think they'll play
right,
it up. There's some teams that just have your number, man. Like Maryland,
right,
Illinois. We've beat Illinois like 12 times in a row. They
right.
cannot beat us. They've
All
tried.
right.
They've had better teams. They were
Better, yes.
1 seed a few years ago. We still beat them then. I mean, they just cannot. We have their number. UNC 6-point favorite in Tallahassee against FSU and Leonard Hamilton.
Leonard Hamilton. I'm gonna have to go with FSU.
And I am definitely on the UNC bandwagon, so I'm going to
All
take the
right.
Heels. Clemson versus Duke at Duke, 4.5-point favorites. Duke's
I'm
four and a
gonna
half,
go with Clemson.
and I'm going to go with Clemson too.
Okay.
Hang on. All right. Oh, Jesus, hang on.
Sure, brother.
Okay, and then 2 more games. Dayton, 4-point favorite at Richmond.
It's a tough one. I'll take Richmond.
And I'll take Dayton. And then this weekend, me and my son have gone to road games for Maryland and for Temple for the last 13 years. And
Good
this year's
streak, good run, man.
it's been a
So
great run. It's been so much fun,
something
man.
to be proud of, yeah.
Great memories, man. And this year we're going to East Carolina,
All right.
and they're a 5-point favorite versus Temple. So who do you like?
We gotta go with Temple.
I'm going with Temple too. Yeah, it should be fun. I've never been to East Carolina. I'm looking forward to going there. It a lot of my friends' kids are there, so we're gonna take like three of them out to dinner while we're there.
All right.
Like I like to do that. If I'm in a college town, I always like to take any of the kids that I know are there to dinner,
Right.
just check on them, see how they're doing, report back to the parents on them. But I'm looking forward. We're leaving on Saturday, games on Sunday. Gonna miss all the NFL football on Sunday, but that's fine. Because the game's not till 5 o'clock on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So we'll drive home after the game. It's like a 5 hour drive. So it's gonna be a long day Sunday, but I'm really looking forward to getting on the road and heading to ECU. It's gonna be like 70 degrees here this weekend too.
Cool.
Be
Now,
nice.
do you and Ian share the driving?
Me, Ian, and Shelly are gonna go.
Oh,
Shelly's been
okay.
going since Ian got the Temple. Shelly's been going.
Good.
Yeah, we'll share the drive. Me and Shelly will share the drive. And I don't know if Ian will drive. He may get the late shift because those college kids, they don't go to bed like 3 in the morning. So
Right.
midnight to them is like waking up. The thing
Right.
what it is, Ian's got a 9 o'clock class at Temple on Monday. So he's on the 6:50 train back to Philly Monday morning. So I got to get him to the train station, get him so he makes his class on Monday. It's gonna be a
Right.
tough turnaround, but we'll get it done,
All right,
you
man.
know.
It's gonna be a good weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. I'll report back next week about ECU, about whether
All
it's a
right.
good place to
The
go or not.
Pirates.
So that's it, Nick. Any other things going on in the news you want to talk about?
Can't think of anything right offhand, you know? Got how do you feel about the two football games this weekend?
The NFL game?
Um, yeah, the championship.
I mean, I really think the Ravens are going to win, but man, you can't. It's hard to bet against Mahomes. I mean,
Sure.
he finds a way. He's
Right.
unbelievably persistent, man.
Right.
He's he's not flashy. It's not like you see him, you're like, oh, that guy. He's not Aaron Rodgers who throws a 40-yard dart on a dime with
Right.
a perfect spiral. His ball
Right.
really isn't that pretty. He throws an okay ball. He can throw it from all positions, which is nice. But he's just a winner. So I'm having
Yeah.
a hard time betting on the Ravens because Mahomes just finds a way, right? I mean, they had
Right.
no business beating Buffalo last week, and no business. And they
Right.
go in there in the Buffalo and win. Unbelievable. And then the other game I'd love to see Detroit win, man. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Shanahans and Purdy and that old stuffy San Francisco 49er front office. I would love to see Detroit because they've never been to a Super Bowl. That would be kind of cool. And I like
Yeah.
the Detroit team. I like who they have. I like their players. I like their coach. Jared Goff kind of resurrected his career right there.
Right.
So that would be a cool story if Detroit got so. So I'm rooting for Detroit and the Ravens,
All right, man.
which
Cool.
would make for a terrible Super Bowl, but I think
Hey,
Ravens
we
would
take what we
probably.
can get.
Yeah. How about you? So who do you like?
I think I like the Ravens, and I just want to. I'm pulled for Detroit. I'll pull for the Lions
Yeah.
in the West Coast game.
Yeah. 9.5 point underdogs, man. That's a big number too,
It is a big number.
right? I mean, they're not like a horrible team, or they didn't walk in the playoffs, walking in backwards. They rolled into the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, they're
Right.
they're they're a good team, man. I don't. I mean, if they bang around Purdy, it's over for San Francisco. I mean, he's
Right.
kind of tender. I mean, they could take some shots on him. Their defensive line with Hutchinson and those guys, they're pretty tough. So we'll see. One thing we'll talk about next week, we didn't that the schedule, the ACC football schedule dropped this week. I don't know if you saw
Oh
that.
yeah.
So we'll have to check out some games. And I am so fired up for college football. I mean, this basketball is just so long of a season with multiple games every week. It's a little tough
Right.
When
right.
you can really zone in on one game, it's so much easier to, dissect it a little bit more. But um, college football should be interesting next year. I think actually Maryland's going to be pretty good next year.
I think so too.
All
Not
right,
that
man.
far away.
I'll let you know about East Carolina next week.
Okay,
Next week will probably be on Wednesday night.
okay, sounds good.
Something's going on Thursday. Thursday, I'm actually having dinner with the Maryland basketball team and
All
going to
right,
practice and going to dinner afterwards with the
all
team.
right.
Should be a fun night.
Sounds good.
See you,
Sounds
man.
good, buddy.
Bye bye.
All right. Take care, sir.
See you, Nick.
See you.